I would say that this is a very, very dangerous time, and I would not put my money on America actually managing to win this one. I think, if anything, America will be beaten. That is extremely worrying because it will change the geopolitical landscape completely. And as for the price of oil, I mean, we're now seeing people saying, well, it could go to $200, whatever. I don't know where it's going to go. It'll obviously go higher. You could say that there is plenty of oil around and that, okay, with a little bit of rationing here and there or whatever, it may not be quite so bad. But having said that, I think the real problem isn't so much oil. I mean, that is a problem, but also it's the stuff which comes out of, from downstream, from the refineries. Fertilizers, urea, sulfates, phosphates, and all the rest of it. And this at the beginning of the growing season in the Northern Hemisphere. And with the Houthis closing off the Red Sea, it means this stuff isn't going to get to Europe. This is going to be serious inflation problems, inflation of prices later on this year. Really serious. And nobody in Europe has planned for this. Nobody has any resilience against this development. And so we're just open to be literally slaughtered in this. The idea that inflation is going to be, I mean, I saw the IMF report the other day, and they reckoned that, assuming that this, that Hormuz wasn't closed for too long, they expected inflation to peak in the United States at around about 4%. And furthermore, core inflation would go out at the end of the year at about 3%, and there would be one more cut in interest rates. Come on, no way. And so what we're seeing in the market is the market hasn't caught up with what the hell is going on. And certainly I can see oil prices going quite a bit higher. I mean, if you look at oil prices in the Asian countries, typically instead of $100 a barrel, or now $110, typically they're $150, $160. Now, admittedly, this is local shortages, but you can see which way this is going. Our prices haven't caught up with the reality of it yet, even without an American failure on its invasion. Boots on the ground, loss of life, body bags coming back, the whole caboodle. This is not good. It really is not. One point worth making is that when we had that drop post-COVID, oil spiked up at $128, $130. So, we're not even there yet. I mean, that's on 10%. We're certainly seeing 20% and probably more. And it's not good. It really is not. This is. I mean, it's going to. In America, of course, everybody talks about gas prices, which to us are, is petrol prices. And so coming up into the midterms, this is not a happy scene for President Trump either. I think he's almost throwing all the chips on one bet, and that is this weekend is going to turn the tide. I don't believe it. They've got an additional day to act, and with European markets closed for a fourth day, or certainly we are. I'm not too sure about the continent. I mean, it's probably his only chance to do it. But he's fighting, I think, virtually impossible odds. I mean, the problem is that the American military are still fighting World War II, with all the aircraft carriers and all the rest of it. I mean, all they are just huge fake targets for missiles, for hypersonic missiles. That is why they're standing off, theoretically out of range. But it was interesting to see. And I think this was a deliberate ploy. The Iranians sent 2 missiles over to Diego Garcia, which is, sort of 2,000 miles away or something. I mean, huge distance. I don't think the intention was necessarily to hit Diego Garcia. I think the intention was to say, look, we can get you. if you like. It was a warning. Well, I mean, you would think that governments have a plan. There's no sign of it. There really is not. They're all actually, I think, panicking. I mean, today we had our foreign secretary, who's a typical Labour MP. I mean, I wouldn't comment on her qualifications for the job, but she was hosting an online meeting of 40-odd countries to discuss this. I mean, all they're doing is they're having meetings. Nothing's coming out of it. There's no action. There's no action plan. Why don't we go and talk to someone? It seems to be about as far as the planning goes. And of course, nothing comes out of that. It's just a waste of time. And things are accelerating really quite rapidly. I mean, the idea that you can selectively ration energy, how are you going to do that? You can't do that. How are you going to identify the people who can't afford energy and need help? You can't do that. What's going to happen, Danny, is that they are going to print credit in huge, great quantities, basically to defray the problems that this Gulf episode is giving us. And also, the political class, I mean, they're saying one thing about this, which basically is, it's not our war. We will give you facilities. I mean, in the case of Britain, we will give you facilities to fly your bombers from our airfields and also our airfield in Cyprus for defensive purposes. I mean, honestly, what a load of rubbish. So, I think our intelligence services are saying, and our military are saying, look, this is bad. This is very, very bad. Don't get involved. And so we have the situation where Starmer is determined not to get involved, but is actually not doing it as well as previous MPs, prime ministers. I refer back to Harold Macmillan in the late 50s. America wanted us to join in on Vietnam. We refused. Before that, we wanted America to join in with us on Suez. America refused. It's perfectly respectable for allies to decide not to get involved in someone else's war. Just bloody well say it. You don't need to sort of, go, whoa, I'm not too sure about this. We'll do this. We'll do that. I mean, they are ditherers, absolute ditherers. And as for the European lot, Pepe Escobar, who is a very well-informed geopolitical analyst based in Asia, calls the Brussels contingent, the leaders, if you like, in Europe, as the Chihuahuas. They're just they're not people of stature. They really are not. We are very, very weakly governed, and there is absolutely no sign of any preparation for dealing with this sort of disaster on the national level.